Hey wrestling fans, this is the King V, and I'm going to do what I've put off since I very first opened a YouTube channel way back in 2007. Just because back then everyone was doing these videos, and I kind of wanted to be the outside rebel. But now I kind of gotten to the point where I have no choice but to start doing these videos. So these are my top 10 videos. This top 10 video is wrestling based, and it's my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. That's right. So, and I did write them down. So if you see me look down, I wrote them down. Um, just so I can get through this easier. So, number 10, Earthquake. We don't get much wrestlers nowadays. We have Tensai and The Big Show and Brodus Clay, but we don't have, you know, big guy gimmick wrestlers like we did back then. And I loved Earthquake. He had the most ridiculous, finishing maneuver where he'd bounce off the ropes and then land on the guy's midsection with his ass, which was always hilarious, always a crowd pleaser. And a guy that big landing on your midsection, ugh. Alright, number 9 is another big guy, Rikishi. And I'll tell you why. He did some good stuff in the old WWF when he was younger, but in the Attitude Era, with Too Cool and then his heel change, which was absolutely awesome. And he always did a great job being believable in whatever he did. So I always like Rikishi. Kurt. The next one is Bret Hart. Now, Bret Hart is one of the best wrestlers of all time and should be on anybody's top 10. But there's a reason why Bret Hart's on my top 10. And the biggest reason is he was really ahead of his time back in the day. He put together matches that were kind of not really the theme. He didn't have the Hulkster charge up thing, and he didn't, use the crowd to get pumped up very often. He was just a straight out in your face wrestling based wrestler, which I really have always enjoyed about Bret Hart. The next one is he who shall not be named, but I'm going to name him anyways, Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit put up some of the best matches I had ever seen. When he went against Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle, they'd be on Raw or SmackDown. Those matches would always take forever. But the best thing about it is even though the matches were taking forever, the matches were highly entertaining. You never knew how they were going to end. That's the best thing about Chris Benoit, is that he did a really good job at just really entertaining the fans, and he always went above and beyond. The next one is DDP. That's right, Diamond Dallas Page. I'm gonna tell you why. When I did, for once, actually watch WCW back in the day, I always watched for Diamond Dallas Page. I didn't watch for anybody else. Screw, the old WWF stars that moved over to WCW. Screw them. Screw the NWO. Screw all the little light heavyweights. Screw all of them. I don't give a shit. The reason why I like Diamond Dallas Page is because his matches were always, matches. And he focused on the actual wrestling, in my viewpoint. And the Diamond Cutter, yeah, it's basically the Stone Cold Stunner equivalent in the WCW, but he innovated everything he did, and even though he was using a neck breaker finisher, he did it very well. So that would be my number 6. Number 5, Eddie Guerrero. Now, Eddie Guerrero was such a good heel that he even had me hating him for a while. But the pure simple fact is he was highly entertaining. Like I said, matches with Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, just when one of those three faced each other, it was just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I when Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship, I wasn't too impressed, and it didn't last very long. Like I said, it was was gonna not last very long, but at the end of the day, Eddie Guerrero highly entertaining, and he was one of the best. Number 4, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle has always been a type wrestler that intrigued me. He didn't mind getting made fun of. He used it. In fact, he came up with the best line. When he was interviewed once, he said, I think the question was, um, "How do you react when fans chant 'You suck' during your entrance video or entrance music?" And Kurt Angle responded, you know, he said, "Me and my pals, Eddie Guerrero, we feel that any kind of reaction in this business, any kind of reaction from the audience, whether good or negative, that's what you want to do. If you're a heel, you want them to chant, you know, hiss, boo, and all that stuff." And he said, "I would much rather get a 'You suck' chant during my entrance video than absolute silence, because then that means I'm not doing my job." So Kurt Angle, very, very good. Too bad he's in TNA. um, Third is the Ultimate Warrior. He's highly underrated. He never gets the props that he deserves, and I truly believe that. But you also just watch his matches. From start to end, you can tell just the way he's moving, just the way he puts energy into it. You can tell that the Ultimate Warrior, you know, he puts everything inside um, in the ring. Everything he represents, he puts in the ring. And that's what I like the most about Ultimate Warrior. Number 2, of course, it's The Rock. Um, my all-time favorite Attitude Era wrestler. Period. Um, his matches lately have been pretty good, but really, to be honest about it, he's still he is still the elite. John Cena isn't. So that's a whole other argument, a whole nother video um, within itself. But yeah, The Rock, number 2. Big matches. Some of my favorite matches were uh, SummerSlam against Brock Lesnar, the infamous SummerSlam match against um, Billy Gunn, Badass Billy Gunn, um, and some of his best rivalries. Uh, you know, Mankind versus The Rock street fight. I believe that was at a Royal Rumble, or was it King of the Ring? I don't remember exactly when it was, but epic match. So The Rock has always been a favorite of mine. And then number 1, of course, if you ever watch my videos, you already know the answer. My all-time favorite wrestler is Edge, hands down. Um, No Quit Attitude, Sleepless Nights, um, Changing Airplanes. If the man had to, he would walk to the next event, no matter how far it was. All throughout the night, he would just walk there. Um, he was the first wrestler that I ever watched compete through a whole match. He's the first wrestler that actually got me intrigued with the inside ring stuff. The way he carried himself in the ring was very awesome. So that was my top 10 all-time wrestlers for my YouTube page. This is not going to be in any of my wrestling playlists, but it will be in my top 10 playlist because I've got to put out all the top 10s of all the top 10 stuff that I like. So for wrestling, that is my top 10. This video is going to be posted everywhere. So Wrestling Hall of Fans, what up? Spike TV, best channel around, what up? So peace out.